Hi, and welcome to Grazia and Femina's Fashion First. My very special guest today here don't need any introduction. So quickly, let's say hello to the super talented Gaurav Gupta and Rahul Mishra. Hi guys, thank you for being here. We've had a busy week watching all your shows back to back, and now it's to you to your all your thoughts on them. So, one of the first things I wanted to ask you all today is about what are the major changes that this year, 2020, has brought about in your business, and how are you coping with that? Rahul, do you want to go first?
Yeah, it also brought a lot of changes to the personal life. The way, I think last few years have been super busy for us, traveling, doing different things, sometimes designing more than 5 to 6 collections a year. But this year somehow taught us like how, it's just about like doing less is sometimes better, having more time, space for yourself, as well as for the business also, because, everything is all very rhythmic. You need breathing in, breathing out, that kind of, so you need space, you need to give space. So somehow this pandemic also brought that kind of, positivity in that way, that it allowed us that much more space. And then finally, business-wise, I'm very surprised the way July, August, September, all these months have been for us. Like we have done better sales than last year. Somehow, because of the lack of everything, the preparedness was much better. And I think concept-wise also, when we are showcasing something, I think it was also absolute clarity of thought. That also, I think, came about because of, this pause which we have got on personal level.
Gaurav, your thoughts?
So yeah, hi. I agree with Rahul that there has been, I think personally, we were all so hectic up to last year. Like last year, even I celebrated 15 years and I literally had like 15 events of my own all over the world, like in London, Delhi, Hyderabad store opening, Calcutta store, etc. It was just so much happening that I think just this pause has been very positive for us as creative people and as business organizations as well. I think consolidating the best out of our business organization, putting better systems into place because we are able to sit at home, properly plan things. If I'm working with the design team, if I'm working with the marketing team, it's much more focused working. So in that sense, I think because we are able to concentrate on the right parts of the business, for us personally as well, I agree with Rahul, our sales have been better compared to last year, especially in cities like Delhi. And it's kind of become more consolidated. And I think the future of this, I think it's kind of been a very, initially it was kind of scary, I think, to kind of think about how will we pay all our labor, how will we open the factories, what will happen where, etc. There was so much confusion around all the labor, all our employees, all of that kind of stuff. But I think by the time things got by June, July, when our stores opened, and I think our website's given a big business push as well. So I think it's kind of propelled us to take the right business forward decisions as well as design forward decisions in a very balanced way. So this year has kind of become a very kind of progressive, balanced year.
I would say there's also been change in role and responsibility, given that you are, like you just mentioned, you are responsible for your business, your workers. There is maybe that was something that was a process that was followed all these years, but maybe this year that role and responsibility has also been kind of highlighted in terms of you having to look at your team, making sure they're taken care of, all of that in the past year.
Yes, I think we always have, and I know Rahul and I, both of us, are very hands-on people in that sense. But in the sense of, I think for me, like I started with 2 tailors in a studio in Saidullah Jar, and now I have about 350 employees. I think it's kind of, yes, we all realize that there is a structure and there is an organization, there is that whole system to the organization. But yes, of course, when there are certain things like my business partner Saurabh handles all the admin and all the backbone of the company and how the functioning happens. But we were really openly discussing and how could we handle this crisis. So yes, I think not just our roles. I think everybody's roles in the company, or even in media, or in the fashion scape of the world has changed and has evolved during these times. I think things have become much more meaningful, much more truthful, much more honest. There's no work which is small for anybody in my company right now, or somebody. So everybody is kind of doing a bit of marketing, a bit of design, a bit of production, a bit of client handling. So there is that. I think roles have multiplied. Like I'm sitting at home doing video calls with clients, and newer roles and newer ways have emerged, which have also been very exciting, actually.
You're right. Also, do you think the pace of your creative process has changed, given that the pace of how everybody's consuming fashion and everything around is also changing? Have you noticed a change in your process? I mean, has it been paced out? I mean, or
Rahul?
What Gaurav rightfully said, like when you're sitting at home, I have realized one thing very clearly last few months. Although I go to office sometimes once or twice a week, but I'm realizing I'm only going to office to do like signing some checks or maybe organizing a few things. I was purposefully, when I was going to office, in a way 9 to 6 kind of scenario, most of the times I was not designing over there. So realize like entire design structuring, entire design language is becoming far more authentic. As a designer, which is a core strength, I think I'm feeling I have got more time now to be able to design. And what Gaurav rightfully said, when I'm like yesterday, me, Divya, all of us, we were talking to design team. We were so focused about it. One simple thing, and we were getting far more efficient. Within 1 hour of time, in that one particular meeting, we had so many ideas and so many solutions we could bring on table that would not be possible. Because, when you are sitting in office, then somebody comes to meet you. Then suddenly you realize, oh, this person wants to meet you. Then suddenly, your gardener is going to walk in and they'll say, nobody listening to me, mera khainchi nahi chal raha hai yahan pe. So I need to get sharpened. Or somebody will come back, say, this tailor wants to go on leave for 1 month. We can only allow him 14 days. Let me know what can be done with that. So a lot of these kind of things, I'm not saying these are not important. These are equally important. But I say, as a creative entrepreneur, you end up taking a lot more responsibility than what you can handle. And being at home, looking at everything, it's much more clear thought. And one more thing is that, which I always believe, 25% of a life, it revolves around work. Rest 25% is all about health and well-being. Rest all 50% is about a relationship with family, with how much time do you have for yourself. So actually, even the 25% of the time of the day, which is roughly 6 hours, if you can give to work in full honesty, I'm sure you can do much better than, lot more. So in that way, the organization has become far more meaningful because of this path. I would say it's almost like catapult, like you have to pull it back. You have to pull yourself back. Otherwise, we all were just rushing, running mindlessly in different directions. Kabhi, it's a very simple thing. One retailer calls from there, wahan par retail store kholna hai, maybe from Kolkata. or somebody calls for a show in Timbuktu. Or some new marketing initiative is there, one car, you have to do some post on Instagram. There's so many things are happening. I also learned to say no. About 9 things I'm going to say no right now.
So I'm glad you agreed to come on board today to do this chat. Otherwise, you would have told me no for that also. But
so the creative process, yes, has changed a lot, and it has. I think as we are able to concentrate much more, I think the creative process has become purer as well. I think what is really nice is that we are able to be more ourselves, be more and more authentic. We both are very authentic designers anyways, but I think just more truthful to our own time, our own thought process, our own creative process, and much more efficient as well. So I think it's just a very kind of a more fulfilling feeling as well in that creative process. And the pace of that, Yes, definitely the pace of that has changed for sure. A lot more interesting ideas are coming out, a lot more with the changing times and the challenging times, etc. as well. And the pace of that also, I think the type of, the method of creativity is also changing.
So those ideas that you just spoke about, the creativity that is, the ideas that have changed, that's taken form in the fashion films that you all have produced in the last few months. Both of you have had hugely innovative formats in the way you guys have showcased. Part of yours was the opening show at Couture Week with a story that was just not about clothes, but it was an entire narrative. We spoke about inclusivity and everything. So is this something you had a conscious thought about all these months, that when the time comes and this is the way I'm going to do it, like my film will be more than just about clothes?
So, as creative people, I see us as almost like clairvoyants. We are almost like reflective of what is there in society and what is to come. We have that almost like a nervous edge to us in that sense. And I feel like, I think what happened during the pandemic, as soon as it hit and the lockdown, etc., there was so much there is still a lot of paranoia, a lot of despair, a lot of anger, a lot of anxiousness in people. I think, and also as creative people, it's our responsibility to change the mood, to change the scene around. So I think that's what I felt, that there is so much despair around us, and then I just wanted to simply talk about love and hope. And when I started to dwell onto the idea of love and hope, then I discovered such amazing stories of a young India, which is an India, because for me as a gay person living in India, I've had my own struggles. And when I actually discovered stories of like an Anjali Lama on my IGTV thing, she actually told me later on, like, मैं जब मरूंगी मैं किसी और को याद नहीं करूंगी, आपको जरूर याद करूंगी. It's been such an emotional journey for me, that to discover like a lesbian couple living in Gurgaon with their parents, and they're not even from a creative field, or a transgender male guy who's 18 years old and is in Delhi University. So it's just like a new confident India that I discovered, and a whole new language of people, and how it kind of became a movement for me. So I think what is really interesting for me is that our brands have come such a long way, and I think they have a certain kind of responsibility to change and uplift the mood, and to take certain social responsibilities, which are multifaceted. Sometimes they're political, sometimes socio-cultural, sometimes ecological, and sustainable, and and with the work ethic culture, it's not just about the clothes that we make. It is also all the stories that we tell through the clothes and with the clothes. I think the storytelling of has become much more creative as well, and I think that is a very beautiful aspect to our work now.
And Rahul, what was your thought process? I mean, you've had 2 fashion films out, starting with July. That was the one that we saw.
When actually this invitation for Haute Couture came to do, digital Haute Couture show in Paris, it was mid-May. So there was nothing in scene at the point in time. Actually, it was beginning April when they decided they are going to host a show which should be first digital couture show ever, the Paris Haute Couture body. And I was thinking what I'm going to do, because I had no idea how I'm going to create. And they gave a freedom. Okay, fine, you can issue just a kind of statement. So that's why you must have seen Valentino has done similar kind of film. Major Martin Margiela only had because they gave that kind of very simple brief. All of you need to participate, all the houses need to participate, and you can do just a statement. We won't mind it, but just participate. And it's my second show. I'm not Valentino, who has got so many big shows behind them and can do, just 1 minute long thing. Yeah. So I was thinking, what do you do? And along the same time, I think UP government issued a kind of order with social distancing. We could start our studio. That was mid-May. And when we started studio, what I did, and before that actually for even Gaurav was involved with one of the fashion film creation with another publishing house. So for them, I learned like filmmaking at home. So I had my own camera and everything. So what I did, I thought that even if the lockdown is not lifted, I will be able to edit and make this film on my own. So I used to go alone. Like there was no design team coming to office. Nobody was coming to office apart from a few embroiderers, a few tailors, and a few people from production. Everybody was working from home. I would go there with almost like at the point in time, everybody was really scared. Like my family was scared. He's going out and I will go with PPE kit and all that kind of thing. Would go there, shoot the making of the entire film. And this I did for entire month. So half of the film I shot myself. So, through all the, wide angle, then, tight shots, mid shots, all those kind of things. Even trying to capture emotion because all embroiderers were wearing masks. One of the very first, reaction of your new embroidery sample comes from embroiderer himself. When you try to find the smile on his face, this time even the smile was missing. You can't see anything. You can't see any expression. So he was just mumbling. So I have to kind of ask them like, how do you find it? Do you think this flower is looking good? Do you think this butterfly is looking good? They say something like that. They will always say. So that's where the butterfly people, as an idea started. So I started shooting the entire making process, them wearing masks and all that. And that was new reality and very, very new reality. Like I remember entering at my studio after 2 months, looking at everything, meeting everybody. And one more strange thing which has happened, which kind of was very, very human. When I asked the embroiderers jokingly, I keep joking with everybody. And that's how I think Gaurav is also. I've told them, everybody must be really happy you all got paid at home, sitting at home doing nothing. They said, no, sir, we really want to do work. We don't do this embroidery just for earning. We enjoy the process of making things. And that's where kind of stuck me, that quote by Hans Christian Andersen, which says like, just living is not enough. One must have sunshine, freedom, and a bit of flower. I think all the craftsmen, all the people, all of us, what we are doing, we are not just creating things for 9 to 7 thing and just for earning. We are creating things because there's a deeper meaning attached to everything. And that's what I think everybody in my team was doing and working for. And that is where the entire making of filmmaking process, everything started. And, this time given us, although like a lot of misery it has given to all of us collectively, we all were really worried. But this collection became most meaningful collection which I ever did in my life. And one more thing which was really, really strange about this collection was we started working on it. Then we had no idea who's going to buy, what is going to happen. We were completely in dark. And we just started working at the point in time. And with a lot of fear, everybody was scared. Even wearing masks, you will say, oh, is this mask working or not? Is it going to work? Is it going to protect me really, really well? And I would come back from studio, would quarantine myself, would not even spend time with my daughter, 4-year-old. She got used to playing with me continuous for 2 months, every day taking care of her. Suddenly I come back from office. I tried to tell her, no, please stay away from me. Let me stay in separate room and all that. So it was quite a different and quite meaningful phase when you really start valuing life, value talent, value time. And I think this is going to go a long way for all of us.
I remember crying. I think every time I saw my film at every stage, when the filmmaker sent it to me and we edited it with him, and every time I'll see the 10-minute film, I'll cry for some time. and then I will cry. And then finally, when it showcased on the day of the show, which was the first ever digital fashion week in India, and that opening show, I saw it in my room on TV. And again, I was crying. I was like, can I stop crying? So I was just like, it's actually been a very emotionally releasing process for creative people and for all of us. And yes, I think working through the lockdown and how the entire team, the management, the design, the labor, the tailors, embroiderers, everybody, I agree, they want to work. They don't want to sit at home. They want to even like work from home. Everybody wants that meeting, and everybody. This creative world is addictive. It is, that once you are actually creative, you cannot work in a corporate world.
Okay, I had another question for you guys. Do you think your relationship with your audience or your audience and your clientele is involved? I know that Gaurav, you used to have a lot of one-on-one, like appointments and things when you used to come to Bombay, here or there, all of that. Do you think that any of that has been affected, or maybe because of digital opening up in a new way, there has been another new way of reaching out?
So the thing is, yes, definitely. I do miss going to Hyderabad, London, Kolkata, meeting my clients, brides, grooms, even for jewelry appointments, etc. But I think I actually have been meeting clients at my Mehroli store for the past 2 months now. And, sometimes I've had like 5, 7 appointments in a day. So it's been quite hectic in Delhi. But on the other stores, yes, we do video appointments. What is great is that everybody's open to doing video appointments, and there is time fixed. And it's kind of convenient for everybody as well. So then I'm able to sit at home and do a video appointment and really understand. And I've been actually making some sketches from home as well for clients, and doing it then and there and just showing it to them on the screen or taking a picture. And like we've all become much more tech savvy, like this Zoom call right now. And it's been that has also been a learning curve. And I've actually our relationship actually I think has expanded, if not contracted. But
Evolved, I would say, in different directions.
Evolved and expanded, because I think what has happened is that a lot of our relationship and communication has become very, very, very digital. It's all on Instagram, it's all on our website, it's all online, etc. And obviously there is a face-to-face in our stores. But before a client is coming to the store, he or she is viewing the collection on the website, then actually or contacting one of my stylists, etc., and then doing a WhatsApp call or video call, etc., or virtual appointments. And then that process become much simpler for the client and for my store people, so that they know, okay, this is the selection, and they go to the store and buy those 3-4 pieces and then customize their outfit, etc. So I think that, yes, that evolution is there, and that expansion to the audience, I feel, was like, I think from a digital film named Love, we literally, I again had to cry after a while again, because we literally had like thousands of DMs on our Instagram, people telling us about their vitiligo story, or how they have had a big issues with their big size body, or their gay relationships or transgender relationships with their families, etc. We were bombarded with this cultural movement happened when we did the show. I think what is interesting is that our audience is expanding in that sense. So audience is expanding, and the client interaction is evolving.
Okay, I have one last question for both of you. It's about talking about what you're looking to consciously change as you go into the next 2 months. We've been speaking to a lot of different people who, somebody says maybe they're reducing the amount that they're going to produce. There are different plans that different designers kind of have seen emerging in their area. Anything you think you want to consciously change moving into the future, now that you've had all this time to think, introspect a little bit, just about yourself, your processes going ahead?
Going about it, I think not just with pandemic, this always has been one of the goals. So one of the reasons, I started doing haute couture in Paris, not ready to wear, was also one of the cautious shift about, doing meaningful pieces, doing pieces which are far more slower in the process. So the slow process kind of involves more people who can come and work on that. So it's just about creating more participation. So the purpose behind creating any garment is also to create a process that creates more enriching involvement of people, and which also obviously result in larger amount of employment. Apart from that, we have got very strong clarity about, like, I will have 2 different collections per year, and rest all the drops will be based on that collection. So it's going to be far more slower, idea of, putting together. And sustainability is always going to be moving target. Like what I had targets last year, I have got more targets in front of me. So now, obviously, increasing the business while reducing the number of pieces which we are creating every year. So that also we could achieve consciously in last 4 to 5 years of time, that we have increased the business, but we have decreased the number of pieces which we are producing, because anything you should produce from any place, you need resources like fabric, textiles, electricity consumption, and everything. So it's just about drastically reducing number of pieces. So in that way, the direction is for sure is bespoke couture. And when I also try to compare how the international, far more evolved market works and how the Indian as a market works, I think sustainability wise, India has got much better answers, because I think Gaurav will agree with me. A person will only go to come and buy an outfit which you create for couture in India if she needs it. We are not producing indiscriminately a small, medium, large, and then waiting for this to sell, and in the end we are left with two pieces of every size, and then after that we do not know what to do with that. So in that way, I think ultimate goal which we could achieve is, we have very small stock situation ever, and also consciously concentrating on creating classic pieces which stay relevant for longest period of time.
Gaurav?
So, yeah, completely. I think the future plan is to definitely be more and more and more ethical, more and more responsible in every way, as I said, socio-culturally, politically, environmentally. And we've always been, very big on environment. When we started the anti-diet campaign and to the sustainable packaging that we're doing, we're actually taking plastic from the oceans and making jacket covers out of them and all the packaging. Because when I go to the factories and I see all these hanging in pannis, and I'm like, why is there so much plastic in my factory? And I keep talking about no plastic situation. So I think it's like, and we figured out that we recycle plastic, which is because 97% of the world plastic doesn't get recycled, and the world is dying literally. And and I think that is one conscious decision, is to be much more and more and more sustainable. And I think practices like slow fashion, as Rahul said, and couture, as we do in India, made to measure that we do in India, already contributes to an ecological life cycle of fashion. Then I think another conscious decision that is handsomely happening because of this pandemic as well is to consciously use more and more Indian origin products, and not so that there is almost like a Swadeshi kind of a movement within India, and there is employment and economical growth within India as well. So I think these kind of practices is what the future is looking like. And and just being authentic and original. And I think authentic, original brands are the only brands that are striving right now. Yeah. All the riffraff copycats are automatically getting weeded away.
On that note, thank you very much to the both of you for joining us.
Stop copying us, guys. Stop copying us.
Put it out there, Gaurav.
I'm coming after all of you.
This is going to be like blown wide open. Big thank you to both of you for joining us today.